Hey everyone, my name is Sean Arnold, and today I'm going to be giving you a tournament report on my first ever live tournament in a long time, going to a locals tournament, and how I did that with my budget Trickstar deck. But before I get into the tournament report, I'm just wanting to make a shout out to anybody who's interested in practicing this game with me. I've recently come to the opinion that I need to spend my time more wisely when practicing this game, and not so much on playing online with random people. I aspire to become competitive with this game, and so in order to do that, I need to play against other competitive players. And so if you are someone who also aspires to be competitive, or are competitive and have very, very good knowledge of competitive matchups in this game, and are willing to play with myself, let me know. I'm willing to play on Dueling Book, YGL Pro Percy, or even if you want to do this for Legacy of the Duelist, I'm looking for more competitive players on there as well. But of course, my aim is to get competitive in real life, which means playing with the current decks. Now, yes, so if you're interested in that, also I'm maybe interested in making videos with others who are willing to do some deck testing with me. So if you're someone who let's say for example, you play Goki, and I can come up to you and say, hey, you've got an hour, let's do a first to 10, and let's do some deck editing after we've done our testing, and then we can even maybe record that and put that up on the channel, or even do a live stream of it. Now that being said, my priority is the experience, so if you are not interested in that, do not worry, we don't have to do any video recording, but it's open there to anyone who may be interested in kind of being in a video too. So without further ado, let's get into the tournament report. This is the budget Trickstar deck which I posted last week, and I went out and bought and decided to play in a tournament. And the tournament was really, really fun. I was very nervous, but I was glad to see that I wasn't the only new player there, and somehow I actually managed to get third with this deck. I'm pretty happy about that. I only lost against one duelist, and he was playing Altergeist, who had a very good matchup knowledge of Trickstars, and so he was able to play against me more so than I could play against him, because I'd never ever played against Altergeist before in my life. Now, I want to kind of improve against that. I want to be able to beat this person. Well, not necessarily him, but be more prepared with my matchup knowledge in the future. So if I ever do go to YCS, then I'll be more prepared against certain games. Now, the deck overall was very, very fun to play with, and I kind of want to go through what I liked and didn't like. The basic Trickstar core there is fine. One thing which I didn't really realize was that Lilybell can be used no matter where you add her from to your hand. So one thing which I didn't realize was that if I bounced her back from the field, she will still get special summoned back to the field, which is something which is really, really cool to do. It does say once per turn though, so I think my opponent maybe let me get away with something there. Pot of Desires was one of the big cards for me. Pot of Desires I'm definitely going to cut down to 2 because I felt like it was banishing too many of my resources. I didn't really like it. And the reason why I'm running Pot of Desires is because I can't afford Sky Striker Engage. I don't really know who can. So I wanted to improve consistency with this deck, and we lost one Terraform, and so I was playing this at 3, but having 20 cards banished is really, really hurtful, because when you go to do your searching, you sometimes just don't have what you needed. But having it always on the first one was nice as well, so definitely cutting this down to 2. One thing which I didn't like, and I haven't really liked for a while, is the Gamma Psyframe engine. Gamma is only really good on turn 1, and that is if your opponent has turn 1. Because you tend to have monsters on the field, and if you have monsters on the field, you are very much in a losing state, in a winning state. And if you don't have monsters on the field, you're on a losing state, and you don't really want to kind of say put yourself in a losing state just so you can use Psyframe Gamma. Yeah, Psyframe Gamma I am not really liking much, so I'm taking that out for sure. Also, Vet Veiler and DD Crow both have similar problems, but also similar benefits. They both shut down plays, but the problem with them is that they can only hit one card at a time. Effect Veiler's weakness is that she doesn't actually get rid of the monster that you're negating, so they still have something there to work with. Whereas DD Crow, again, similarly, is a great card for banishing cards for the graveyard. However, it doesn't stop the opponent from making plays using other cards, so I'm taking that out. Call by the Grave is just a lot stronger than DD Crow is, and DD Crow isn't a really good complement to it. Also, I felt like there are too many cards which don't actually have synergy with the main deck in this build. I would open a hand up with, say, I don't know, Pot of Desires, Terraforming, Effect Veiler, and Call by the Grave, and while these cards are great for stopping my opponent, they don't really help me push my plays further, so I want to kind of mod that up a bit. One card which I never got to see use of was Cyber Dragon, and I think this could be more useful. Recently I watched a video by the gentleman from Team Samurai X1, and he's been talking about how good Cyber Dragons are in this format, and that is something which I may want to try and invest in, maybe having as a, say, like a sub engine, because this deck definitely could do with some more beat sticks. In fact, that's why I lost the second game against Altergeist. The game went on so long, I ended up decking out because my opponent just set up a big wall of monsters and I couldn't get over them because I couldn't summon, I didn't have enough materials to summon a big monster out. And yeah, having more stronger monsters would be nice in the main deck. Honest is amazing. I love this card in this deck. It's always been helpful, so that's definitely going to stay for a while. Eater of Millions is fantastic in this deck, but with the third Pot of Desires gone, I'm hoping this won't cripple my deck so much. I think at one point we had this at 32,000 because I had banished 30 of my cards, so whoa. Yeah, Eater of Minions is still good, but boy, that can be costly. And Humongous is alright, but I'm going to take it out because I don't think I need it so much. As well as, say, maybe Dark Hole. So I've modified this deck a bit. I'm now going to go over to the new and improved version, and this is what I'm working with at the point in time. I've upped Cyber Dragon to 3 because I kind of want to open up with it, and I'm interested in maybe possibly adding more Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. However, that depends on what I take out of my extra deck. Now, my extra deck I need to get better at using because I don't really know all the combos in my deck. So I just cards in this deck which I never end up using because I never felt confident enough to go into them, like Topologic Bomber Dragon or Tri-Gate Wizard. As well as that, I need to use my cards more effectively. I made a play with Trispania trying to banish all my opponent's piece up Altergeist trap cards, and I fucked it up somehow. I can't really remember how, but I did. So I need to practice my extra deck combos more, so I'll get another Chimera Tech Mega Fleet in there once I know the ins and outs on my extra deck a bit more. I've spent some money investing in 3 copies of Troll and Lockbird. Everyone who I played against definitely was expecting me to use Troll and Lockbird. They were all ready for it and they were all dreading having to play against it. And not having that to take advantage of was definitely something I wanted to do there. It is expensive. It's like 10 to 12 euros a card, which is a lot in my opinion. But I decided that if there's anything I'm going to invest in, it better be something which is going to up the threat of my deck significantly. So Draw and Lockbird I've decided to kind of splash out for. I'm going to give that a shot at free. Plus, Draw and Lockbird doesn't only just work with Reincarnation, it shuts down a lot of plays and it works as a floodgate for a turn as opposed to DD Crone Effect Veiler. So it stops my opponent from adding cards for the rest of the turn. So that I think will be very, very helpful to do. Now, because I've reduced Pot of Desires and I'm wanting to improve the consistency of this deck without having to buy things like Sky Striker Engage, I decided to give the Brilliant Fusion engine a try. I haven't tested this yet, but I want to see what it's like. I went for this engine because I felt like it has a lot of synergy with this deck. Brilliant Fusion, which is kind of an old engine, works on using Garnet, sending it to the graveyard with a light monster to bring out Seraphinite. Why I like this in this deck, or I think this could be useful, is because it can send cards to the graveyard which I can get back easily, such as the Trickstar monsters can be revived easily using Reincarnation. I have plenty of light targets which I can send to the graveyard if I don't need them, like Cyber Dragons, Honest, or Effect Veiler. I've decided to go with a Trick Clown too, because while we're not playing the rank 4 era anymore, Trick Clown can be used as extra fodder to summon out Link monsters, so I think that could be helpful, and often I would want just one extra monster in order to summon out a monster, so I think that can be utilized quite well with this build. And also, particularly, Seraphinite can be very useful in this build in my opinion, because she works so well with Candina. Candina's effect works on normal summons, so by giving myself multiple normal summons in a turn, I can get more searching out and improve the consistency of my deck. Ideally, I will play Candina, bounce her back with Licorice, then use Seraphinite's effect to normal summon again, bring out Candina again, and get another search, so I can get 2 cards in my hand out of 1, as opposed to just 1 per turn. So I'm hoping it will help my deck a bit, but it might be completely terrible. I don't know just yet. Other than that, the rest of the deck is basically the same, and so I'm going to be trying to test this. Thank you guys for watching this video as always, and I'll see you soon. Take care.